With the new Windows 2016 server already available in TechNet and all around the internet, we have the option to install the new Active Directory with domain and forest functional levels of 2016. So let's see how the promotion of a domain controller has changed from the previous operating systems and if there are any significant changes when you promote the new 2016 domain controller. Hello friends, this is Nick from NLB Solutions, and today I'm going to continue with the next part of the series Windows Server 2016. In this video I'm going to show you how to promote a Windows 2016 server to a domain controller, and let's see how the process changed in general, if there are indeed any changes. I will also mention few things that Microsoft did and recommend for you to do beforehand installing the Windows 2016 domain controller. So first, as you can see, I have my server already built from the previous video, and this is the NLB DC01. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to go to Manage and Add Roles and Features, and in there I want to select a role-based or feature-based installation. Select this server. This is the only server that I have at the moment, so I'm going to select it, and I'm going to select the Active Directory Domain Services. This is going to add few additional features, which I'm going to add the features now, and click Next. And I don't want to select any other additional features. I'm going to make another video for the features because there are a lot of different new ones that are new even for me, so we can export them together. And right away you can see that you have the option to connect your local Active Directory to Azure, which is great and is going to help to create those hybrid that everyone is saying right now, hybrid configurations between your local servers and servers in the public cloud. So this is going to make things really redundant, because you won't rely only on the local infrastructure that you have. Instead, you can have servers that are located in different infrastructures. For example, the Azure provided by Microsoft, which is a great thing. Of course, you have the links to see here if you want to learn more about Azure Active Directory, and of course it's quite different from the local Active Directory that we installed. Of course, it is not fully functional as the local Active Directory that you have for now, of course, but in the future it's possible that it's going to be the same as installing a local Active Directory. So I'm going to click Next and click. Of course, you can see here that I can export the configuration settings in here if I want, but I'm just going to install the Active Directory domain services, and I'm going to wait for the process to finish. So I'm going to resume after this is done. So the process finished successfully, and right away you can see that I have the option to promote this server to a domain controller. So I'm going to click on this link, and it's going to check to see if I have an existing domain, but I'm going to create a new forest because this is the first server in my lab environment, and I'm going to create the new nlblab.com domain. So I'm going to click Next. Okay. Here I can see that well, I've now loaded a full Windows Server 2016 standard evaluation copy, but I can see that unfortunately Microsoft forgot to change the Windows Server Technical Preview functional level, when you promote a new domain controller, which is strange for me. So strange to see, at least. So I'm going to leave this because this is going to be the 2016 functional level. That's the forest functional and the domain functional. And I think this is a good time for me to speak about the functional level and what changed from the 2012, because you know that in 2012 we didn't have any new features, let's say new features like in 2008 the Active Directory Recycle Bin, which is a great feature and I really recommend for you to have it if your functional levels are at 2008 at least. So with 2016, unfortunately I did not find anything major that is changed, at least for now, into looking into Microsoft documentation. So what they say only is that well, they said it in the past, but they want the Windows Server 2003 to be fully deprecated and fully removed from being used in the domains. So they are saying that you need to upgrade your domain controllers to at least 2008, and then if you want to add the Windows 2016 servers. And their major concern is the file replication service that is used by 2003 for replicating the sysvol folder. And if you don't know what is the sysvol folder, you can go ahead and search online for it. Basically, it's an important folder that contains group policy and logon scripts and so on. So this folder is being replicated, and with 2003 it's using basically an old mechanism to replicate the folder. And with 2008 they've introduced the DFS mechanism to replicate this folder, which allows the folder to be replicated with small chunks, let's say small chunks with incremental data only, which will not heavily load the traffic, the network traffic between domain controllers. So they're saying that it's a good idea for you to upgrade your domain and forest functional levels to at least 2008, so you can upgrade your the way that the sysvol folder is replicating between your domain controllers. The domain name, service, DNS and global catalog, they will stay here. I want them to be added, and I'm going to set a directory services restore mode password, because this is an important thing to have. If something happens with your Active Directory, you will have to use this password to log into the server and to try to fix your AD. So I'm going to set that now. Okay, I'm going to click next. Here you have the step to create a DNS delegation, but unfortunately I don't have a parent zone for the DNS because this is actually my first DNS server, which is okay. I'm going to click next to this. It's going to check and verify the NetBIOS name for my domain controller. It's going to be NLB Lab. Okay. I'm going to click next. So far I didn't see anything new being or anything changed in the normal way the Active Directory is being or the promotion is being done. So let's go ahead. Again, you can see that you have the option to view the script that is going to be used to promote the server to my first domain controller. Of course, you can always copy this script, save it somewhere so you can have it, and instead of going through the GUI, you can always use PowerShell, which is a good way for an administrator to learn how PowerShell works. But I'm a lazy one, so I'm going to use the GUI. And again, it's going to perform prerequisite check. Okay, although that I have a few warnings, it's saying that all is good and I can continue with installing and promoting my first domain controller. So I'm going to click install and I'm going to pause the video right here, and I'm going to continue when the wizard is done. So as soon as the wizard is done installing and promoting my server to a domain controller, this message appeared saying that I will be signed out soon. Now that my server is up and running once again, and it took some time to basically configure things, let's say, I can see that the ADDS is now available as a selection in my dashboard. And if I go to tools, I will have all the Active Directory components listed. So I'm going to open the Active Directory users and computers. And in there, if I expand the nlblab.com, under users, I'll be able to see this is the account that I'm currently using at the moment. But what I'm going to show you is I'm going to create a new organizational unit that I'm going to name NLB Solutions, and I will leave the protect container from accidental deletion so I can be sure that none of my administrators, the new administrators, will delete this. So now that I have this, I can go ahead and create additional organizational units, for example, for my users, and click OK. And in there, I'm going to create my first user account into my new NLB Lab domain, which is going to be for my user Anna Patterson. Okay, and I'm going to create the logon name Anna.Patterson and click next. And I'm going to create a password for that user. You need to confirm the password, and usually what I do is I set the user must change the password at next logon, because what I do is I set generic passwords at first, but it's always a good idea for the users to set a password that they know. So I'm going to click next and finish, and now I have my new user account, which is for Anna Patterson. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to create another organizational unit, which is going to be for my security groups. Okay, and in there I want to create a new security group. So new, if I see it, yep, there it is, security group. And this security group, I'm going to create a security group for read and write access to my shared folder data, which is going to be security group shared data read write. And I'm going to set the group scope to global security group, and this is indeed going to be a security. So in this security group, I'm going to then add Anna. Okay, and click OK. And now what I can do with this security group is I can go ahead and share my shared folder data and add this security group as and add the permissions for this security group to be read and write permissions, so that Anna can access the shared data with read and write. Of course, you can go ahead and create other organizational units. This is basically the structure of your Active Directory, and you can configure that the way you want it to be. But as a recommendation, I might say that it's a good idea to plan this, because this can get easily out of hand really fast. So after I'm done with Active Directory users and computers, what I can do is I can open my sites and services and double check that and confirm if this is okay. So I'm just waiting for it to load. Okay, and if I expand sites, under the default first site name, I should have under servers, I should have my domain controller, and in here I can check the NTDS settings. If I open the properties, I can see that this server is a global catalog. Of course, this is a thing that you can configure if you want to go ahead and configure some advanced features of Active Directory. For example, any custom site links, any custom replication between domain controllers. But usually when you create the sites and add the domain controllers, of course you need to add subnets to link the domain controllers to the subnets. It's going to create this replication links and automatically, and it's going to work just fine without the need of manual intervention. So the final thing that I want to check is my DNS, because this is a core component of Active Directory. And if I open my DNS, I will be able to see my forward lookup zones, which is the nlblab.com, and currently I only have the DC01, which is a host A record. Of course, this is a name server as well, because it's authoritative for this zone. If you want, you can create reverse lookup zones, so you will be able to resolve IP to host names. This is not available, so you will need to create this manually. And this is basically the DNS management is a topic that can be created in another future video if you are interested, of course. So I confirm that my Active Directory is fully functional, it's up and running, and I don't see any problems. The last thing that I want to check is Active Directory Administrative Center. And in here, basically, this is, let's say, a quite granular view of your Active Directory. And of course, from here, you can, again, have an overview of all of your security and all of your organizational units. From here, you can create user accounts, you can delete, disable, you can add additional attributes or fill in additional attributes for your user accounts or security groups, and basically everything. And right on the right side, I can see that I still have the option to enable recycle bin. So this is not enabled by default. So if I click here, it's going to ask me if I'm sure if I want to perform this action, but this is a great feature, so I want this to be enabled. So please refresh AD Administrative Center now. It started enabling the feature, so if I refresh it from the top, I can see that this option is now grayed out, which means that my recycle bin is being processed and basically being activated. So if I go to the users, I'm sorry, if I go back and go to NLB Solutions and then users, I will see that I have the Anna Patterson user account, and if I double click that, I have a lot of features here, a lot of attributes that I can fill in the information. For example, the office email, job title, department, company, and so on and so on. So this is the Administrative Center is a great tool for you to have an overview of your Active Directory and how you want to manage your user accounts, security groups, and everything in general. So it's a good thing for you to check it and try to work with it for a bit. So in general, this is the new installation and promotion of a domain controller in Windows 2016 server. I haven't personally seen any major changes in the promotion process, and I might say that this is a straightforward process that you can achieve easily without any issues. If you have any problems, of course, you can always put them in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. And if you like the video, you can always subscribe to NLB Solutions so you can be part of the journey that we're going to take into Windows Server 2016. This was Nick from NLB Solutions. Thank you very much for viewing, and see you soon.